dig yourself a 26-point hole with a team like that. It's hard to win. So, I mean, we've been struggling with turnovers. Our turnovers were down to 8, so I thought we did a good job with that. We felt this was a game we could cut the turnovers down because Pittsburgh doesn't really turn people over like that. But we're trying to cut CJ's minutes in his first game back. He's feeling all right. Hopefully it wasn't too many for him, but it was great to have him back because I think he helps cutting the turnovers down. We can get some guys the ball out of their hands a little bit more. But I don't know. If we can put 40 minutes together, we could beat some good teams. When we played 20 minutes with Creighton, we played these guys. I don't know when we were down 26, but from that point on, we pretty much outplayed them. And we felt like we could beat this team coming in. Like even with Artis playing, we felt this was a winnable game, and then we just didn't come out of the gate ready to play. So I don't really have an answer for you. It didn't help. We maybe in hindsight should have started Nick at the 5. Our traditional 5s just couldn't really guard. They're playing like perimeter players at the 4 and 5. So playing a traditional 5 like Smart or Johnson or Kadiri just wasn't good for us, and it took us too long to really get Nick down at the 5. So maybe that's one adjustment we should have made earlier. But I thought our kids showed a lot of heart fighting back. You get down 26 to a team, you could give up pretty easily. I thought they showed a ton of heart and fought their way back. And if they call a foul on Willie there when he's taking a 3 when we're down 3 in the last minute, and he makes 3 free throws, we could have tied it up pretty easy. So I thought we were right there.
Your offense ran really good for good shots the last 25 minutes. What happened the first 15 minutes?
CJ was in the last 25 minutes. I don't want to make it overly complicated. Yeah, it did initially because and that was on us. We knew they pressed. We didn't know they were going to come out in it right away. In hindsight, too, maybe we should have known that because we turned the ball over so much. They thought maybe that, and it did. I think we had 5 turnovers after the second media timeout, and then we only had 3 the rest of the game. So I think the press early hurt us a little bit, once we got settled down. And really once we got Nick more at the 5 and played Blake a lot more at the 4, then you got 4 ball handlers out there a lot more, and it helped out a lot with attacking the press.
What did you think of Nick today?
He was really good inside. I feel like he's our best interior scorer. He's able to play inside and outside. We got to find ways to get him inside a little bit more. Playing him at the 5's kind of, he had 23 points and he didn't make it 3. So I think, he had 8 rebounds. We're on him to rebound it a little bit better. 23 and 8 against Pittsburgh's not bad. I thought he was pretty good today.
Nick, it seemed like every time you got the ball in the low post, you're just keep getting more confidence. How did this game go for you?
Well, initially they was like double teaming the post at the beginning of the game, and towards the second half it was more just one-on-one when I was catching the ball, especially after they went to the zone. So it was just one-on-one, and we work on that stuff in practice every day. I'm just finishing one-on-one in the post, so it was just me just taking my time and being able to finish in the middle.
Those lobs, though, seemed to get you going. You got like 2 or 3 lobs, I think, in a 3-4 minute stretch. Were those like called from the bench, or is it just the way they were fronting you?
Oh, we just running box 5, so you just take that whole side away.
Nice job. You just gave everybody in America our play calls.
Oh, it's still gonna be hard to stop. Yeah.
Many options.
Yeah.
Coach, you said coming in that you felt like you guys could beat this team. Where did you feel like your main advantage was on Pitt? Where were they most vulnerable?
I think they got 2 main scorers and a third guy, in Johnson. And if you look, they had some guys, like Luther had 11, I think, at the first half. Like he scored too many on our 5s trying to guard and blue by. I felt like we could pack off enough guys and load up on those main scores. And I still don't think they're great defensively. They obviously were good enough to beat us tonight. But, they play guys heavy minutes, their main guys, and they can't get in foul trouble. And they're big. They're long. They switch everything, which causes you problems. But I felt like we could attack some of those switches. It just took us way too long to get comfortable playing against all that switching and stuff. And it's hard. You can do as much stuff as you want in practice. It's just hard to emulate. You got to walk on switching versus, 6'8" guy switching onto you. It's a little bit different, than once they settled down and were able to get comfortable playing against the switch defense. I thought we did a pretty good job with it, but we dug ourselves way too big a hole before we got comfortable with it.
When you saw that Pitt lost to Duquesne on Friday, did that give you a better feeling?
No, worse feeling, because I knew our artists didn't play, and I knew they would be extra motivated. It was bad. We kept looking at the score, and we just were hoping Pitt would come back and pull that one out at the end, because even if you win by a little bit, it's not the same as losing. So I'm sure their practices were a little bit extra motivated coming into this one, and it probably showed with how they came out of the gate. And that was a bad scenario for us with them losing to Duquesne and then getting Artis back, because they're a lot different team when he's playing than when they're not.
CJ, how do you feel? Physically.
I actually feel all right. The practices before the game, we wanted to limit as much activity for me, just trying to rest my body for the game. But I actually feel okay, and I think that moving forward, I should be good.
When was your first full practice?
I haven't had a full practice. We just get me in like some of the drills, run through some of the plays, they just limit me. So
You were first cleared though Monday.
yes, Sunday.
Okay. So, I mean, did you have like, you looked pretty good. Did you have any stamina? Did you feel like your wind was hurting today, or what was that?
First coming to the game, like you always have jitters or whatever, and sometimes that can like make you feel fatigue. And I felt that a little bit with the first couple of possessions running down, but then I think adrenaline kicked in and I was good.
Have you been able to shoot at all?
Yeah, I've been getting up, stationary jump shots. So I just wanted to coming into the game, I was kind of worried. Like I didn't know how my body was gonna react, and I didn't know if I was gonna be ready since I ain't played in the game this whole year. So I just got up stationary shots and came out ready.
How tough was it, to set out first?
It was really tough. I mean, seeing your family, your team, all of that out there in the field fighting against opponents like Creighton and Xavier, and you can't do nothing but sit there and watch. Yeah, that hurt me a lot. But a lesson was learned from being out, and I no longer take the game of basketball for granted.
Will you manage? Are you going to try to be a little easy on his?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, when we played Creighton, I've been good friends with Greg McDermott for a long time. I had some high school kids of mine play for him at Iowa State. He talked to me about Scott Christopherson played, and he had mono and never missed a game, but his spleen wasn't enlarged. But all they did was just play him in the games and not practices. So once we got his spleen back down to normal and he was cleared, we kind of talked about, trying to save, he's got limited amount of energy coming back from mono, like saving that energy for games, not practices. So we got him enough reps in practice that I felt he was, knocked the rust off enough. He was 3 for 5 from 3. The rest of the team was 2 for 15. So I think he had the rust knocked off enough, and we just the plan was not to go over 20 minutes tonight. Once we were in the game and he was playing as well as he was, and he said he was feeling good, we just 25 probably fine. I checked with the trainer to make sure. He said we're good to go with it, so we kind of let him ride there at the end.
When you have a player like CJ out, and then you had to rely on other guys, and we got really like 3 scores going, now to have him back, you feel like that can actually be like a multiplier at this point?
Yeah, really. I think, and some of the younger guys got a lot more experience playing when he was out, which I think will help us moving forward. But really, we knew we had 4 main scorers like CJ, Nick, Blake, and Willie. And 3 of them, again, 3 of those 4 were in doubles, and we, if we could have got Willie going a little bit better tonight, we probably would have been able to win that game too. So we really need all 4 of those guys clicking. And then, but those other guys, Devontae and Dante, got a lot of minutes when he was out, and I think they got better for it. They won't have as many minutes now that he's back, but they'll be better players for it, I think.
CJ, do you feel like you were up to par with all the mental aspects of the game when you got out there?
Yeah, one thing about being out, it changes your perspective of like everything that's going out there. Like before sitting out with being sick, I only had the perspective of being out there on the court. But sitting out every game, now I hear what the coaches are saying. Now I'm looking at like what we need to fix. So like being out really helped me. So yeah, I think I was ready mentally.